Right now, in July 2026, there's a wealth gap wider than it's been in decades. And here's what most people don't realize: they're not broke because they make too little. They're broke because of five specific habits that have become so normalized, nobody even questions them anymore. I'm going to walk you through each one, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which ones are holding you back. Let's go. Welcome back to Money Mindset TV. If you're new here, we break down what's actually working with money in 2026, not the financial advice from 2020 that's already outdated. Drop a subscribe and a comment telling me which of these five habits you've been guilty of. I'm genuinely curious. Let's start with the first one, and this is probably the most common. Habit number one: treating your checking account like a savings account. Here's what I mean. You get paid, the money hits your checking account, and it just sits there. Maybe you move a little bit to savings when you remember, but mostly it's just there, slowly getting drained by purchases and slowly losing value to inflation. This is devastating for your wealth because of one simple fact. Inflation right now is running at levels that make your cash worthless faster than you think. When you park money in a checking account, earning 0.01% interest, you're literally losing purchasing power every single month. The Federal Reserve just made their critical decision on interest rates, and the market's reaction tells you everything about where we are economically. Money sitting idle in a checking account is money that's silently evaporating. Here's what the wealthy do instead. Every single dollar has a job. If that dollar is needed for next month's expenses, it lives in a high-yield savings account earning real interest, somewhere between 4 and 5% right now, depending on which bank you're using. Apps like Marcus by Goldman Sachs or Ally Bank are still competitive in 2026. That's not life-changing money, but on $10,000, that's $500 a year you're literally throwing away by not moving it. But more importantly, the discipline of assigning every dollar a job, whether that's expenses, emergency fund, or investment, is what separates people building wealth from people treading water. Start doing this today. Open a high-yield savings account. If you don't have one, move your 3 to 6 months of emergency expenses there and never treat your checking account as storage again. Habit number two: ignoring your credit score in a high-rate environment. This one's critical right now in 2026. Your credit score isn't just a number, it's literally money. When you're applying for a mortgage, a car loan, even some job positions, your credit score determines how much you pay and whether you get approved at all. Right now, the difference between a 620 credit score and a 760 credit score on a mortgage could cost you tens of thousands of dollars in interest over the life of the loan. Here's what most people get wrong. They think their credit score is just about paying bills on time. That's part of it, but it's only 35% of the calculation. The other 65% comes from your credit utilization ratio, which is the amount of credit you're using divided by the amount available to you. If you have a $5,000 credit limit and you're using $4,000 of it, your utilization is 80%. That tanks your score. Lenders see that and think you're desperate. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Keep your utilization below 30%. If you need more room, call your credit card companies and ask for a credit limit increase. Often they'll do it without a hard pull. You don't need to use that limit. You just need it to exist, so your utilization stays low. Also, check your credit report quarterly. You can do this free through annualcreditreport.com. Look for errors, and they're more common than you'd think. Dispute them immediately. A single error on your report could be costing you hundreds or thousands in higher interest rates on loans you haven't even taken yet. Habit number three: staying in one income stream when everyone building real wealth is building multiple. This is the big one. In 2026, the economy is bifurcating. You've got people with multiple income streams who are doing fine. You've got people with one job who are anxious. The difference isn't luck, it's intentionality. Look at what's happening in the market right now. The Nasdaq is down 6.7% this month. Chip stocks are getting rotated out of. AI earnings are being closely watched. The stock market overall is flat. This volatility exists because the economy is unpredictable. The job market can shift overnight. If your only income is your W-2 job, you're operating with a single point of failure. But here's what you probably think: I don't have time to build a side hustle. I'm already working hard. I'm exhausted. I get it. But the people who are building wealth aren't working harder. They're working smarter. They're using automation, outsourcing, and digital products. Someone's running a digital service business using AI to handle first-level customer service. Someone else is selling digital products on Gumroad or Etsy that require no ongoing time investment after they're created. Another person is doing freelance work on Upwork that pays 3 to 4 times what their primary job pays, doing it just 10 hours a week. You don't need 5 income streams. You need one additional income stream that brings in just an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month. That's an extra $12,000 to $24,000 a year. Depending on your situation, that could mean retiring 3 years earlier or investing aggressively enough to actually build wealth. Start small. What skill do you have that someone would pay for? What problem do you solve in your current job that you could solve for other companies? Even at $100 an hour, just 10 hours a week changes your financial trajectory completely. Habit number 4. Thinking you can't invest because you're not rich yet. This is the one that makes me the most frustrated. I hear this constantly. I want to start investing, but I only have $2,000. What's the point? The point is staggering, and I'll prove it to you. If you're 25 years old and you invest $2,000 into an index fund, let's say the S&P 500, which is trading at 740.86 right now, and you never add another dime, and you leave it for 40 years until you're 65, with historical average returns of around 10% annually, that $2,000 becomes roughly $45,000. But most people don't stop at $2,000. If that same person adds just $100 a month, which is the price of 2 coffee subscriptions, over those 40 years, that initial $2,000 plus those monthly contributions grows to over $1.2 million. Not because they're rich, because they started. The barrier to entry to investing is essentially zero in 2026. You can open a brokerage account with Fidelity, Schwab, or Vanguard with your phone in about 5 minutes. You can buy fractional shares. You can start with $50 if you want. The infrastructure is there. What's missing is the action. Don't wait to invest until you've optimized everything else. Don't wait until you have $10,000. Don't wait until you understand every detail of how the stock market works. Start now. Open a Roth IRA if you're eligible. Put your first contribution in. Set up automatic monthly investments. In 5 years, you won't believe how that account has grown. In 10 years, you'll be kicking yourself if you didn't start. Habit number 5. Optimizing everything except your actual earning power. This one's subtle, but it's costing you more than all the other habits combined. I see this pattern constantly. Someone's obsessed with saving $50 a month on their streaming subscriptions. They're tracking every dollar they spend in a budgeting app, categorizing everything meticulously. They're moving money between savings accounts to get an extra 0.2% in interest. And these things aren't bad. Optimization is good. But meanwhile, they haven't had a real conversation about their salary in 3 years. They haven't invested in learning a new skill. They're not exploring what they could earn in a different role or company. Here's the math. If you save $50 a month through optimization, that's $600 a year. That's great. But if you negotiate a 5% raise or $5,000 more annually, you just made 8 times as much progress with a single conversation. Most people are so focused on controlling their spending that they forget the real lever is earning. Your earning power is the fastest way to build wealth, period. A 10% increase in your income is more valuable than optimizing your spending by 30%. And your earning power compounds. If you go from $70,000 to $80,000 at age 30, and that salary continues to grow with cost of living adjustments and promotions, by the time you're 50, that difference is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Stop obsessing over the small stuff. Instead, ask yourself, what skills could I develop that would make me worth more? What would it take to get a raise or promotion at my current job? What role or company would value my skills more? Is now the time to make a move? These questions have 100 times more impact on your wealth than any budgeting spreadsheet. So here's where we are. You've got 5 habits that are keeping you broke, and they all have fixes. You're going to move your money to a high-yield savings account. You're going to check your credit score and optimize your credit utilization. You're going to build a second income stream, something small that brings in an extra grand or two a month. You're going to start investing, even with tiny amounts. And you're going to stop obsessing over small optimizations and focus on what actually moves the needle: your earning power. The market right now is showing volatility. The Fed's decisions are creating uncertainty. But uncertainty is also opportunity, because most people freeze up. The ones who move forward, who build systems, who stay consistent, they're the ones who win. That's always been true, and it's especially true in 2026. If this video helped you, subscribe to Money Mindset TV. We drop new content every week about what's actually working with money right now. Drop a comment telling me which of these 5 habits you're going to tackle first. I read every comment, and I'm genuinely interested in hearing which one hit hardest for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.